We see a train get out of control and a mom with her baby stuck on the track, but in the nick of time, a man comes and saves them by stopping the train. As the person turns out and gives his hand, the lady says thanks but is shocked to see his face, which seems like a zombie. We see him waking up in his room, and his name is Zombie. He has a dream to be friends with humans, so he helped many humans so that their perspective could change towards zombies. He saved them from a plane crash on the ground and saved children from a burning building. He wasn't that strong. One day, a zombie outbreak caused a disaster that took place suddenly, and he didn't get a chance to escape. At that time, he was a child, and a zombie had bitten him in school, which makes him an ordinary zombie who follows the mob wherever it goes. One day, humans came up with weapons and murdered the zombies in a genocide manner. They used the zombies for electricity generation through a machine. He doesn't get why zombies eat humans or why humans murder zombies. From that day on, he starts training hard to change himself in order to survive. He worked out to become strong, didn't eat meat. Instead, he ate protein powder for 3 meals a day straight. He continued to train even at night until he became strong. After gaining knowledge and power, he decided to live in human society, following the rules and being a good zombie. He continued to help humans, through which their perspective toward zombies can be changed. He runs out of food, so he decides to go shopping. He went to Yi Hao supermarket to buy stock, and the lady at the counter treated him as a human. They helped him put the stock in the truck. 2 men watch him secretly. They have doubts that he is the one who lifted the airplane, and that it might be false information from the media, so they want to expose him. But as he lifts the truck and jumps high, they become shocked. He lands in the city that he conquered for the zombies, and we get to know that he is the zombie king. Mr. Zombie ordered all the zombies to eat eggs instead of human flesh to get the proteins they required. Mr. Zombie went to meet the boss-level zombies in the hall, where we were introduced to Lang, Fur, Ah Gan, Ah Gu, Varmint, and Blackie. They are all SSS rank, danger-level zombies. All the zombies greet Mr. Zombie, and he shows Ah Gu the poster that he is wanted again by the humans. Ah Gu apologizes to Mr. Zombie, and Blackie tells his boss that they already had to change their base multiple times to hide from humans. Other zombies suggest fighting humans, while Mr. Zombie disallows them because humans are terrifying. Meanwhile, a sound came from a military plane, and it is a lady. The lady is the president of an organization, and the employees report to her that the equipment is ready, and the nuclear bomb will drop in 20 minutes. The president seems to have hatred for the zombies, and Varmint asks Mr. Zombie to let him go and cut them. But he declines and goes to handle the humans. The president informs the ground unit to evacuate in 20 minutes, saving the civilians. The president orders a fighter-man marshal to handle the boss zombies as they appear. On the other side, there's a boy informing his brother Fee that the people from Extraordinary Academy have found the zombies, and as he gets this info, he drops the prison full of humans into the mob of zombies. The ground unit detected signs of human life and went to save them by murdering the zombies. One soldier is trying to murder a zombie, but it's undestroyable as Mr. Zombie has extraordinary capabilities. A soldier uses a rocket launcher to attack him, but he defends it easily. Another soldier tells his leader, who used a rocket launcher, that he is not a zombie and that he is an extraordinary person who has helped many people, and is famous for wearing a zombie mask. The leader was shocked to hear that, thinking he shot the wrong person. The president informed the marshal that a boss zombie was detected in Zone B, and he jumped from the plane. The boy informs Faye that the president's team has saved almost all the civilians, so he orders him to make it interesting, and the boy converts zombie number 69 into his berserk form. The ground unit alerted all as they found a boss zombie had appeared. The squad leader of the ground unit took Mr. Zombie into a secure van and ran out of the place to save him. The girl soldier shows her curiosity to Mr. Zombie as to why he always wears a mask. The boss zombie lifts the bus up and throws it at the soldiers, but at the right time, Marshall comes and cuts the bus. The Marshal orders the soldiers to save civilians and evacuate. Marshall destroyed the boss zombie, and when Mr. Zombie hears the berserk zombie's voice, he disappears from the squad. Marshall uses his sword and murders the boss zombie. Mr. Zombie arrived at the spot, and the news that Marshall defeated the boss zombie reached the president. The zombie told Mr. Zombie that it was not the humans' mistake as they were not able to control themselves. The marshal heard them and attacked Mr. Zombie. Another boss zombie is detected, and it is none other than Mr. Zombie. Before anyone orders Marshall to finish him, his presence disappears from the radar, leaving others shocked. Mr. Zombie hung him without clothes, and the members reported to the president that Marshall got critically damaged, and still there were civilians left to evacuate. The president goes out with lightning speed. The president rashly goes to Mr. Zombie and attacks him with her sword, but as the sword touches him, it breaks into pieces. The president steps back, and Mr. Zombie tells her to stop as they can sort out the matter by conversing, but she intends to murder him anyway. The president used her enhanced blade and went straight to him, but he dodged the sword easily. The president used a red blade cleave attack, slashing in a circular motion. But again he dodged her attack by bending down, which made the president angry. Meanwhile, the ground unit rescues the marshal and civilians. A team member reported to the president that all the civilians had evacuated and she could retreat. But she didn't reply to them. The president chases Mr. Zombie, as she has a strong intent to murder him. She used Aido Level 2, which is a Japanese art, and attacked him, leading him to crash into the ground while she landed smoothly. The president's mission is complete, and she orders the team members to lower the plane's altitude and take her back on the plane. A boy informed his brother Fee that they saved all the civilians, and he ordered him to use the spy. The civilians are enjoying being saved, but soon their celebration turns into a tense situation on the president's plane. The pilot is revealed to be a spy, and he releases the nuclear bomb while the president is still on the ground. The plane cabin door opens and the altitude drops lower, but in order to pick up the president, she must jump into the plane, otherwise she can't escape from the explosion. They are running out of time, and the president's leg boosters are not working because they ran out of batteries. Mr. Zombie holds the president and rotates her to get momentum and throws her into the plane. The cabin doors close, and they moved away. Mr. Zombie moved quickly towards the bomb and stopped it in the air, leading the bomb to explode, leaving them all in shock. Mr. Zombie resists the explosion, but his clothes are torn up. Faye tells his brother it is time to go while there is still a life signal in the area of the explosion. It is neither the first nor the last time they have fought against Beyonders Academy. The president regrets being saved by a zombie, as she spent her life murdering zombies, and in the end, one of them saved her. One of her members told her that he was not a zombie. He was a masked hero who lived in the city for a while and liked to hide his identity by wearing a mask. Mr. Zombie calls Varmint to know their whereabouts, and he tells him that they all escaped on time and are all saved, looking for a new place to settle down. Mr. Zombie was standing outside of his home when the president saw him in torn clothes through a camera. Later, when Mr. Zombie is doing his daily workout, the president breaks the gate of his house and gets into his home with his team members. She orders his members to bring all his things and reveals they are from Beyonders Academy. She informs Mr. Zombie that he has been accepted into his academy, and from now on, he is a member of it. Mr. Zombie asks her if zombies can go to school, but she understands he is pretending, so she takes him. One of the members asked the president if it was right to enroll him in the academy as there are strict criteria for recruitment. He didn't get a place to live because the dorms of the academy are planned specially. Mr. Zombie and his stuff shift to the Beyonders Academy, and he is a bit confused if he is going to live in the president's room and sleep on her bed, so he asks her. She understands if he wants to sleep with her, but nothing is like that, and she tells him that he will be sleeping in the guest bedroom. Mr. Zombie told her that he was not a human, but she didn't listen and took out her mechanical leg. She told him her story behind the leg. When she was a kid, her village was attacked by zombies, and her parents became zombies and bit her leg. She had to cut her leg and murder her parents. That's why she hates zombies and has vowed to murder every zombie she meets. Hearing her, he stayed quiet, fearing her, but when she asked if he was saying something, he became happy as she didn't listen to what he said earlier. Mr. Zombie curiously asked her about the Beyonders Academy, and she told him that it's an organization that uses different ways to fight zombies. She tells him that it has been 1,000 years since the first zombie outbreak happened, and after 2 centuries since the outbreak, their ancestors established the Beyonders Academy. There is only one purpose of the academy, to fight zombies, and for that they hired talents and nurtured them. Mr. Zombie realized that he had become a zombie in the first outbreak, which means it has already been 1,000 years for Mr. Zombie to be living and struggling to change humans' perception of zombies. The president told him to report to the academy tomorrow, as she had already enlisted him through the back channel. She warns him not to even think of running away because it's not an ordinary academy, and if he doesn't report, then they will investigate to know the reason behind the escape. The president reveals her name is Violet, and she tells him that Dawn will bring him to the academy tomorrow while he doesn't know who Dawn is. In the morning, Mr. Zombie meets a girl named Dawn. He asks her identity, and she recalls the moment when they were in the armored personnel carrier. Mr. Zombie reminds her that she was little when they met. Dawn explains to him that he must take an entrance exam where his physical and special abilities will be tested to destroy zombies. She gives him an example to make him understand. If the world record for a 100-meter sprint is 9.58 seconds, then he must finish 100 meters in 9.57 seconds to get admission to the academy. Mr. Zombie understood what Beyonder meant in Beyonder's academy, and he told Dawn that they were all crazy people. At the exam place, there is a crowd, and Mr. Zombie asks Dawn if a person has lifted an airplane. Then there is no need for any exam. She tells him that there are many here who can lift airplanes, and all of them have secrets. Chen, the president of the sports department, arrived as the examiner. Chen tells the participants that it has been 8 years since the academy was established, and there have been people who have come and gone who fought against the zombie kings who could even split mountains. Mr. Zombie asked Chen what would happen if any zombies were discovered in the academy, to which he replied that they would rip it up and hang him beheaded on the academy gate. It's truly cruel. The first test is the 100-meter race, and as it starts, a participant named Wu Chengsu passes the race within 3 seconds. The next is a shooting test, and Dawn won it easily. The next test is shot put, in which a participant must hit 80 meters to pass and 100 meters to be qualified. One group passed and another failed. Mr. Zombie is stuck with these crazy people, and is controlling his strength to ensure he does not attract any attention. Chen, the examiner, sees Mr. Zombie's score, which makes him pass, while he gets the letter from Violet in which she says that he is strong. This makes Chen suspect that he is pretending to be weak. Wu Chengsu hit the target at 32 kilometers, which made his javelin throw qualified. The next turn is Mr. Zombie's, and he is about to throw. But Chen stopped him and asked him if his name is Zombie, and he is the one who was introduced by the President Violet of the Swordsmanship Department. Chen asked him if he was hiding his true power as Violet told him that he was too strong. Chen told him that he is the one who asked him the question earlier, and everyone is trying to qualify except him. This makes Chen suspect that he is not a person, to which Mr. Zombie replied that he is human, and Chen forced him to show his full strength. Otherwise, he would be treated as a spy and get punished for tricking Violet. Mr. Zombie is ready to throw the javelin, remembering the moment when he practiced for the whole day. Mr. Zombie threw the javelin, cracking the ground, and the javelin pierced the satellite and crashed to the moon, leaving all in shock about his strength. Mr. Zombie left all mouths open with his throw that pierced the satellite. The examiner's face can be seen as he is shocked by his strength. Dawn was impressed by Mr. Zombie's strength, and now he is a very strong person in everyone's eyes who witnessed his javelin throw. Mr. Zombie is qualified now, so he asked Dawn if he could go home. But she asked him why he would want to win, with the strength he has, can even become president. Dawn explains to him the authority of president with the example of President Violet of the Swordsmanship Department, can not only control the army, troops, and tankers, but even nuclear bombs. She has the highest authority over the city of 30 million people, and even the mayor just helps her. The final decision is hers. Mr. Zombie tells Dawn that he already owns a city, but without believing she takes him to the biotech department, also called the logistics department. There is a picture placed there of Professor Jamie, who is known as the logistic head and was the former biotech president. As his wife died, he started doing a crazy experiment that included humans and zombies, and it is said that his goal was to fulfill his late wife's dream. The academy dismissed him for his overdoing and ordered them to murder him as soon as they found him. The president of the biotech department came, who is the adopted daughter of Professor Jamie, and asked if they had passed the exam, which they already did. She asks them about the type of equipment they want, and Dawn tells her that she wants equipment that helps her carry more weapons. Dawn is joining the gunner department and asks Mr. Zombie about the type of equipment he wants, but she is scared as she sees his face and calls him Zombie. Dawn makes her believe that he is just wearing a zombie mask, and she saw him when he did his javelin throw, which was amazing. The president believes him as a person because if he was a zombie, then he would have already attacked. Mr. Zombie tells her that he wants clothes that do not tear up because every time he comes home naked. The scene shifts to the swordsmanship department, where the marshal is telling a lady about his fight with Mr. Zombies. As he attacked him, his entire vision turned dark, and within seconds he found himself hanging naked. She asked him if his president could win against him, to which he answered that he was even stronger than his president, She asked for his name. She allows Marshall to go. The lady named Zhang Luoqi is the president of the sword department, and there is a fierce competition between the blade and sword departments that has been going on for generations. Even if one side has one more member, they give birth to the extra member rather than be weaker against their opponent. Zhang wishes the best of luck to Mr. Zombie as she leaves. On the other side, Mr. Zombie and Dawn are taking classes with his friends. The teacher taught them the habits of zombies to use them as an advantage in their traps. They eat eggs also other than flesh. Mr. Zombie makes notes of them to show his family. In the announcement, all were told to assemble at the gymnasium. At the gymnasium, President Violet warns Mr. Zombie and Dawn to be quiet and not to create any trouble for her. A member of Blade Academy told her that with a glimpse. He couldn't say how strong Mr. Zombie is, so he asked for permission to go and test him. Meanwhile, Chief, the president of Mechanical Lifeform, arrived there and President Sword took her leave, telling her assistant not to make any trouble because, compared to Zombie, Chief is more important and she respects only the strong. The Chief praises President Violet for her hard work. Mr. Zombie asked Dawn about Chief and if he is strong, to which she told him that Chief is Professor Janey's successful experiment, an evolved human. He is also the only man who has survived thousands of experiments. After Professor Janey was expelled, he formed the Mechanical Lifeform Department. His department controlled the city of 50 million people, and during his 10-year presidency, not a single zombie appeared in the city because even if a zombie hair was found, he restricted the area until it was sanitized. The chief gave his speech, thanking the freshmen and asking them to help the academy. He shows them a spy through projection who was caught a few months ago, and because of him, they nearly dropped a nuclear bomb on their own people. Such people should be murdered in an instant, but they have information that the spy is a subordinate of the traitor, Professor Janey. Mr. Zombie realized that zombies are not only their target. The zombie threat passed a long time ago, and the current conflicts are because of infighting between the Beyonders Academy and Professor Janey. Some people just want to destroy the world. They have tried a lot of methods to let him talk, even with their seniors, but they all failed. The chief requests freshmen to help the academy, and if anyone makes him talk and gets Janey's location, then the person will become vice president. Upon hearing this, all the freshmen became ready to make him talk and started going by chance to him at the chamber where he kept. After 2 hours, freshmen tried different ways and soon turned very desperate. Initially, the methods are normal, but they turn out to be silly later on. Dawn asked Mr. Zombie if he could make him talk, and Mr. Zombie replies that he can make him sing, which causes Dawn to break her ice cream stick. Dawn tells the chief that her friend Mr. Zombie can make him talk, and the chief tells him the way. Mr. Zombie has doubts about him as his subordinates are very obedient to him, but in the past few weeks they have been losing control, and the spy might know something about it. Mr. Zombie goes inside to see him, and the spy is not in a mood to betray Jamie. Mr. Zombie gives him a cut on his hand that gives him negligible pain, but as Mr. Zombie orders him to stand up, he does, leaving others shocked. It's a virus that goes to his brain from a cut that makes him talk. Mr. Zombie asked him questions and he answered. His name is Xiao Kai, and he knows most of the things. Mr. Zombie asked him the reason for berserk zombies going out of control, which is because of a medicine created by Jamie and dropped into the city. The zombies that ate the medicine went crazy, and even they could control them up to a certain point. They command the berserk zombies to attack humans, and through battles, they collect data on Beyonders Academy. They are doing it on Janey's command, and he said he is doing something great. The spy only needs to collect data on Beyonders Academy members by controlling zombies. Professor Jamie is at a secret base that is 500 meters below the city. Mr. Zombie calls him hateful things and tells him that he put a virus in his brain and that he can trigger it to take his own life. A boy told Brother Faye, Professor Jamie, that his spy has confessed, and they know their location by now. Jamie orders him to continue their work as usual, and it's better if they come for him at his location to witness the historical moment, the birth of a new life form. As Mr. Zombie came back, some were shocked, and some were fearful. However, the chief praises him and asks to come with him to register him as vice president. Mr. Zombie is concerned that Janey will run away, but Chief assures him he can't run. President Sword and his mate found it suspicious, as there is no registration process to be a vice president. The chief took him to a deserted place and asked him when he had learned human language. The chief attacked him with his cannon, which has the ability to disintegrate anything. President Zhang was just saved by his mate from the cannon. Chief speaks bitterly. He had already disintegrated Mr. Zombie's head, and once a zombie loses its head, it leaves with no ability to move, but Mr. Zombie moves quickly and hits into the wall. Chief's mechanical robots attacked him, but he destroyed them all, and seeing his quick moves, Chief left with questions. Mr. Zombie tries to grab Chief. He dodges it and then attacks with a cannon. Mr. Zombie avoids it by bending down. Chief dodges and steps back. Chief seems to be in trouble, but he starts getting serious. Mr. Zombie's head regenerated, and he said to sort out the issue with a conversation as he didn't want to hurt him. Chief takes off his jacket and calls Model Number 1, that turns him into its mechanical life form. He didn't talk, and he started fighting seriously. He kicked him in the jaw, threw him into the air, beat him badly, and knocked him to the ground. He used his center cannon and threw him up, thinking he must be dead already. Mr. Zombie comes out of the smoke and turns to his berserk form. The sky turns dark with the clouds, and no one has seen the sky be so dark with the strange behavior of the clouds. Mr. Zombie becomes serious and asks Chief how he wants to die. President Zhang has a bad feeling seeing him, and they run out of there. Chief never feels threatened by another being, but it's time for him to. President Zhang's mate witnessed that he never saw such a form of zombie and never found such type of zombie in the Academy Library database. They were thinking they would be saved there, but soon it turned out to be wrong as Chief crashed near them with his leg and hand broken. Chief calls Models 2, 3, and 4 at a time, but Mr. Zombie explodes them with a hand slash. The Chief asked President Zhang for help, but she ran out. Mr. Zombie punched the ground and lifted the new city up. He grabs the Chief and hits him on the ground. Mr. Zombie asked him if he felt threatened now. Mr. Zombie cannot control the mind of a robot, but Chief is partially human, so he has a human brain. Mr. Zombie used a virus in his brain to read his memories. He was orphaned at a young age, and he went under body modification until his human body parts were replaced with mechanical parts. Mr. Zombie leaves him from the height because living for him is more painful than dying. President Zhang caught Chief, and she knows now that Mr. Zombie can read memories. Mr. Zombie packs his stuff because he lost control of his emotions again and became scary, even though he is a kind zombie. He is about to leave, but President Violet comes, and as he's about to hit her, she shows him the paper of his promotion to Vice President, which stops him. From now on, Mr. Zombie is the Vice President of the Beyonders Academy. Mr. Zombie doesn't believe in the Chief's sign. He asked President Violet to confirm, and she told him that Chief said Mr. Zombie is a good human. President Violet takes her leave, saying she is looking forward to a day when Mr. Zombie becomes president, and once he does, he can achieve the purpose for which he came to Beyonders Academy. On the other side, President Zhang angrily asked Chief why he kept Mr. Zombie still after knowing he was a zombie, to which Chief answered that it doesn't matter whether he is a zombie or human. Chief needs his strength to catch Professor Jamie. Chief is intended to clear every trace of Professor Jamie for good. At the zombie site, Varmint tells other zombies they suspect that their king, Mr. Zombie, is hostage in the human city. Zombies speak to murder humans and save their king. Blackie and Agu understand Varmint was made because the king doesn't need anyone's help. It didn't stop Varmint because Blackie knew no one could stop Varmint other than the king. On the warship, Chief announced that they have only one chance to catch Professor Jamie, and regardless of the price have to pay. Mr. Zombie is at an abandoned place with Dawn, which is full of army troops. The 56th Regiment reports and greets their new leader, the Vice President, Mr. Zombie. The Central Command's 4th Division and the 56th Regiment report to Mr. Zombie that they will be following his orders from now on. There are 12,000 people in the 56th Regiment, and they request Mr. Zombie to confirm. Mr. Zombie asked the soldier if he would really follow his orders. He asked him what would happen if he told him to take his own life, and just as the soldier is about to take his life with a grenade, Mr. Zombie tells him to stop and throws the bomb away. Two mysterious figures make fun at Mr. Zombie by calling him a weakling. These two men are from the Steel Blade Department of the Stainless Steel Academy, and they were sent there to help them catch the target. The two are President Bang and Vice President Chui. The Stainless Steel Academy questioned them about why they promoted a newbie to the position of Vice President and gave him the important location to guard, which is an important part of the mission. The chief replied saying it's because Mr. Zombie could beat him to death, but the Stainless Steel leader called him more powerful than the chief. The leader explains to the chief that he has deployed his two people, so there is no need for them to guard the exit. The boy tells Professor Janey that the whole city is surrounded by zombies, and Janey orders him to release them. The zombies are released, but the president and vice president of the Blade Department handle it. Mr. Zombie found that the zombies were not of his tribe. President Bang tells Mr. Zombie that he is not needed there and tells him to leave. President Bang makes a joke of Mr. Zombie by calling him a weakling again. Dawn called President Bang a weakling and told him to be quiet, which made him angry. Varmint appeared, and the Professor Boy saw his level at max, and he might be intending to control him. Varmint scolds his mate, the little 7 zombies, as they were shouting to stand with Varmint for saving the king. But even then, no one came except him. Little 7 gave Varmint gasoline and ran away because he couldn't disobey his king, Mr. Zombie. Varmint senses a smell, and a new subject is recorded on Professor Zombie's system. Varmint drank the gasoline and was ready to fight, unaware that Mr. Zombie had seen him. Varmint roared and came close to them. President Bang found him interesting to fight with. Mr. Zombie ran away with Dawn because even the 2 heads of the Stainless Steel Academy can't win against Varmint due to his undine body. The president called Mr. Zombie trash for running away, seeing that he was powerful, and Vice President Chui went to fight first. President Bang was surprised to see Tree thrown to the wall. Before President Bang moved, Varmint came close to him and hit him too hard. Varmint twisted him, threw him to the ground, and at last kicked him to the tank. Varmint is about to cut him with his chainsaw, but he manages to stop it with his blade. Mr. Zombie is observing them fighting with Dawn. President Bang showed his confidence that as a president he wouldn't lose, but soon it turned out to be wrong, and he started crying for help. Varmint is so strong that a normal soldier can't withstand him, and Mr. Zombie wonders why Varmint hasn't recognized him, so he orders Dawn to go to Varmint and put some sense into him. Dawn hesitated to go, so he bit her hand and put a virus in her. President Bang is on the verge of losing, but Dawn went to Varmint and got his attention. Mr. Zombie puts zombie cells in Dawn that change her DNA and replaces it with genetic nucleotides that make her strong. Without wasting time on talking nonsense, Dawn starts shooting Varmint, and he bends down. Dawn jumps and fills Varmint's mouth with grenades. The grenades exploded in his mouth, but they didn't hurt him, and Dawn shot his face. The commander of the 56th Regiment wonders what Mr. Zombie did to Dawn, and he asks him curiously. Mr. Zombie modified Dawn's genes, and Dawn can still be more powerful. The president and vice president of Stainless Steel Academy are stuck in the crazy fight of the undead. Varmint moved forward with his chainsaw, but Dawn stepped on it and kicked Varmint away. Varmint crashed near the gasoline, and he drank it and continued the fight. Dawn shoots with a rocket launcher, but Varmint cuts the rocket and Dawn's body. Varmint reveals he is undead, and Dawn comes out of the smoke, revealing that she is also undead. Dawn becomes strong after the genetic mutation, but her bones are shattered and her muscles are torn. Mr. Zombie can use genetic recombination on Dawn to heal her, but she must bear the pain of dismantling. Mr. Zombie becomes angry at Varmint for disobeying his orders because he didn't stay at home. Dawn hit Varmint with the machine gun, and he surrendered. Suddenly, Varmint sneaks up on Dawn and beats her up badly. Dawn, being relaxed, let her come to her original state, and she is injured now. The boy underground watched all this but didn't recognize Mr. Zombie's true power. Mr. Zombie comes up to Varmint and asks him if he knows who he is. The boy is controlling Varmint, but now he is unable to do so as Varmint sees Mr. Zombie. He went into a flashback when he first met Mr. Zombie. Varmint's pants become wet, remembering that moment. The underground boy is controlling Varmint, but Varmint fears Mr. Zombie that even the boy can't control him. Mr. Zombie was just standing in front of Varmint, but Varmint remembered the moment when Mr. Zombie punished him for not obeying him. Varmint remembered that because he has an undine body, he was cut into pieces and dried up on a tree for 100 years. The fear trembled over him, and the boy's system exploded. Varmint returns, and the boy still has other zombies, but Professor Jamie stops him as they are about to come down on them. The base of Professor Jamie has 6 floors and extends to 11,000 square meters. The musclehead jumps from the plane and rotates down, with the sword reaching the right place. Professor Zhang tells them to use their brains because they can also be traps, but Chief also jumps from the plane, saying all traps are useless in front of absolute power. Chief, leave the second-line defense to them. They went underground to catch Professor Jamie, but they didn't find him there while all the ways, including water, air, and land, were sealed. President Zhang and Violet are waiting outside the underground place. At a building terrace, Professor Jamie is standing with his team, and the boy is watching the inside and reporting to Jamie that they are inside and executed Plan A. The plan is to make them break the glass and let them fight with the Zombie King. But when they didn't fall for it, Professor Janey executed Plan B, and a baby zombie came out that seemed harmless. Chief was aware of it and alerted his mate that the things that seemed harmless were the ones that were troublesome. The stainless steel leader cuts him, and the Zombie King shows his true colors. The chief announced retreat, and the soldiers ran away. As the leader cuts the Zombie King, it divides into two. The boy releases all the zombies to get them distracted, and with Professor Janey, they can escape. President John comes forward to fight zombies. She kicks the zombies in the air and jumps up with the help of a tree. She cuts the zombies into pieces with her sword and comes down. The boy has no zombies left other than Varmint. The Blackie and Agu wear masks to avoid the zombie virus and are searching for Varmint because if they don't take him back, Mr. Zombie will punish them. The Zombie King is standing still, and the chief and the leader attacked him simultaneously, but he dodged them easily. The leader told him to stop running away and fight him for real. Hearing this, the Zombie King turns to a lady zombie. The Stainless Steel Academy leader attacks the Zombie King with his cleave blade attack, but she stops it with the tip of her finger. The chief couldn't help him because his arm was injured. The leader turns to Model 1, but before he takes any action, he is beaten to a pulp. Leader crashed near Blackie, and Agu shows concern to help, but Blackie refuses to help as they are zombies. President Violet and John were shocked to see the leader losing, and he gave visual cues towards a lady zombie who is a Zombie King. On the other side, Mr. Zombie is partying at an egg barbecue with stainless steel heads and Dawn. The behavior of the heads with Mr. Zombie has changed now. Mr. Zombie and Dawn hear an explosion. The lady zombie is standing in front of President John and Violet. Presidents are ready to fight. Mr. Zombie gets up to see what happened. President John attacks the Zombie King with her sword, but she avoids it easily. President Violet quickly moved and attacked the Zombie King, but she kicked her. Violet jumps and kicks her also. John uses her blade, but she dodges easily, twisting her body. Meanwhile, the leader turns to his true form and comes to confront the Zombie King. Both presidents attack simultaneously, but Lady Zombie turns into a big zombie with horns on its head and hits them away. The Zombie King told him to decide the win with only one hit, and they both punched each other. An explosion is seen, and after the smoke disappears, we see the leader's hand disappear with a zombie punch. The leader is standing in front of the zombie, but trembling with fear. Mr. Zombie went close to the battle place with the heads and Dawn. The Zombie King shows him the true power to make the leader surrender. The Zombie King turns to his true form, and the boy controlling him reports to Professor Janey that they can't control him further. The Zombie King hits the leader, and he returned to his original form. President John and Violet sneak attack, but the Zombie King throws them with a flick only, and they hit the ground and fall on Mr. Zombie. The leader crashed to the ground but was still able to fight. Violet tells Mr. Zombie that it is the Zombie King that Professor Janey created. The Zombie King ordered the zombies to attack them, and President John told Mr. Zombie to order the retreat. Mr. Zombie threw the president down and roared, to which the zombies stopped in fear. The Zombie King asked who he is, and Mr. Zombie replied, "If he is the Zombie King, what will he be called?" All the zombies surrendered to Mr. Zombie. President John and Violet are cared for by Dawn and the heads of stainless steel. Mr. Zombie showed his true power form, and all were shocked to see him. The leader of the Stainless Steel Academy shows his anger at Beyonders Academy for making a zombie vice president. The Zombie King set the condition that the one who survived would be called King. Zombie King punched Mr. Zombie in the cheek, but doesn't even move him, and he makes jokes of him as he has not eaten the food. Mr. Zombie punches the Zombie King, and he goes far into the air, crashing along the way, eventually hitting the ship. Professor Janey did not expect this, and they failed to get any information about Mr. Zombie. The Zombie King lifts the submarine and throws it at Mr. Zombie. Dawn realized they needed to change their location, otherwise, they would be crushed between the fights. Blackie is helping the chief weld his parts, but they idiotically cut all the pieces that should be welded and welded all the pieces that should be cut. Agu senses Mr. Zombie's aura, and they see him piercing the submarine and going to the sky. Mr. Zombie lures Zombie King to come up and puts the rope into his neck and rotates him. Mr. Zombie pulled him aside and kicked him in the face. Zombie King holds the rope, trying to do the same, but Mr. Zombie breaks the rope and crashes to the ground near the leader. The Zombie King lifts the submarine and throws it at Mr. Zombie, but he dodges it and the submarine sinks in the ocean. Mr. Zombie lands on the warship, and he asks the Zombie King if he likes to throw things. Soldiers on the warship ran away, and the Zombie King challenged Mr. Zombie's abilities. Chief explains to Blackie and Agu that they need to go and catch Professor Jamie, and he knows Mr. Zombie is strong, but Professor Jamie is more important because he is a genius and people like him were once born in a century. Blackie explains to Jamie that no one can defeat his king, Mr. Zombie. Mr. Zombie punched Zombie King into space and threw the ship on him, which crashed to the moon within him. Mr. Zombie is standing on a cracked surface of the ship, which is the result of the force he threw the warship with. Presidents and Dawn are tired of running away to safety, as it's useless because the fight covers them anyway. The Zombie King throws the warship back to Earth and comes like an asteroid. Zombie King pierces the warship in the air and hits a nuclear reactor that explodes near Mr. Zombie. Presidents take cover to save themselves from the explosion. The smoke disappears, and Mr. Zombie and the Zombie King land on the ship. The explosion is nothing for Mr. Zombie, but just an itch. Dawn thinks the fight is over, but the Zombie King's hand turns big, and he grabs Mr. Zombie and gives him a proposal to cooperate and destroy the world together. He hit Mr. Zombie to the building with his hand, but Mr. Zombie resisted it easily and refused to cooperate as he had no interest in destroying the world. Chief suggests to Blackie that they should run because even Mr. Zombie became strong after his transformation. But Zombie King is not a weakling either. The Chief suggests they should save their strength and find the right time to strike them. Blackie told Chief to be quiet, as Mr. Zombie doesn't have only one transformation. He can transform again. Mr. Zombie told Zombie King that he was not worth to work with. Mr. Zombie made a joke about Zombie King right in front of him. Mr. Zombie said that only weaklings talk about destroying the world and ruling it. Dawn wants to hear them, but she is far away. Zombie King talked big, giving him a lesson, but his face paled at seeing the second transformation of Mr. Zombie, who seems like a human. All were shocked to see his form, and the Zombie King saw a face in the sky and seemed to be feeling threatened. Agu wakes up the Chief to let him see how his king really looks. Mr. Zombie is different from Professor Jamie Zombie, and he seems even now. The rain starts, and the Zombie King is about to punch Mr. Zombie. But before he does anything, Mr. Zombie cuts him into pieces without even moving from his place. The rain goes from the ground to the sky, and everything starts moving up from the ground. The presidents, the ship, even the sea animals. A giant cyclone covers the earth. All the things start falling from the air, and a whale falls on the building, causing Violet and Professor Jamie to be shocked. Zombie King is lying down broken to the earth. He can't believe what just happened. Even Professor Jamie has not seen anything like what is currently happening. Zombie King regenerates his body and reveals to Mr. Zombie that his effort is useless to him as he can regenerate himself. He can't hurt Mr. Zombie, but the Zombie King will not lose either, as he is undestroyable. This approach turns out to be very wrong when Mr. Zombie pulls the Zombie King with his hand movements and grabs him by the neck. Mr. Zombie tells him that there is no need to physically destroy someone in order to murder him. As Mr. Zombie grabs Zombie King's neck more tightly, we see in ancient times the Cyclones, a robot-like swordsman with spaceships, and they try to attack human civilization for the 6th time, thinking it will be the last. But the humans' fate changes, and Mr. Zombie destroys those who intended to destroy human civilization. The Zombie King turned into a corpse. Everyone is thinking the fight is over now. Mr. Zombie dropped the Zombie King from the building, and he didn't even move. Chief is surprised that the Zombie King is not moving, but Blackie tells him that he must be scared to death, fearing the terrifying form of his king. Professor Jamie is unable to believe what just happened. The helicopter arrives, and the boy suggests to Professor Jamie that they should escape, as there are no defense boats left for them to worry about, and it might be their last chance. Before Professor Jamie answers the boy, Mr. Zombie reaches them, and the boy is surprised at how he knows his location. Mr. Zombie orders them to surrender in 1 second, otherwise they must go to meet the Zombie King, who has been scared. Professor Jamie and the boy surrender to Mr. Zombie, as they are left with no choice other than to surrender. Professor Jamie and his mates are captured by Mr. Zombie, and they go inside the prisoner transportation vehicle. Mr. Zombie feels bad for turning that scary, and President Violet orders Dawn to go to Mr. Zombie, but she fears him. So President Violet gives her the ambition of making her vice president in the future, and she goes to him to know his whereabouts. Mr. Zombie is hungry and just needs untearable clothes. Dawn asked Mr. Zombie if he remembered what he did, and he answered that he had done it but didn't remember it properly. Mr. Zombie tells Don that he lost his sense of time, but he knows for sure that he has beaten up many of those kinds of zombies in the past. The zombies he had beaten up were weaklings, as they don't need to be remembered. Professor Jamie, after seeing Mr. Zombie's powers, has an evil intent to get his genes sampled and to create an even stronger being than Mr. Zombie. The Zombie King that was created by Professor Jamie has already turned into a corpse. The incident with Professor Jamie has finally ended. Mr. Zombie is asked to become president, and he has no problem doing so. The president is responsible for maintaining and protecting the city. The president must exceed the city's population by 10 million within a time limit, otherwise the president's title will be cancelled. Mr. Zombie chose the city where he caught Professor Jamie. The H-City is a deserted place where there is not even a single human hair. It's hard for him to grow the population there or develop the city. However, Mr. Zombie, without caring about the population, chose H-City even though there were so many good cities as an option. Mr. Zombie's choice left all going crazy. After becoming president, Mr. Zombie's single army was expanded to 4 regiments in order to protect the city. Finally, the day comes that Mr. Zombie has waited for. Human soldiers are helping the zombies move into their new home. Blackie reports to President Zombie that all their citizens have moved to the city safely. A child is scared of the human soldiers, but he explains that President Zombie's orders are only meant to be done, and their work is to move the zombies to their new home safely. The President's zombie people are equal to his own people in the human soldier's eyes. Finally, zombies have their own city, and here we learn that to achieve something, you need to fight. Someone asked about Varmint to President Zombie, as he has been hanging for a few months. President Zombie orders to keep him hanging. Varmint is hanging from the strings on the terrace of the Zombie Town Municipal Council. Varmint is regretting what he did, and will never do anything like that again. Zombies are thankful to President Zombie for giving them their own city. We see Violet lying injured on the broken wall, and there is no one other than Dawn who did this. Violet is shocked to see the new version of Dawn. She feels like she has 2 different personalities. Dawn is standing, and Violet comes from behind to attack, but is horrified to see Dawn moving her neck back. Violet dropped her sword and asked her if she was still human. Violet steps back, dodging Dawn's attacks. Dawn continuously shoots Violet, but she becomes angry and approaches Dawn quickly, urging her to show her most powerful skill. Dawn roars as the cells that President Zombie injected make her even stronger. Violet quickly moved close to her and attacked with horizontal slashes, but it didn't affect her. Violet cuts Dawn into pieces, but she regenerates her body, and seeing her do this, Violet is curious to know what President Zombie did to her. Violet has doubts if she is a zombie, but she tells Violet that she was examined in the lab yesterday and is fine. From the body to the cells, everything is normal. Violet asked her if it was so, then how was she able to turn her head 360 degrees, and how did she regenerate her body? Dawn can transform as long as she wants, and when she feels down, all she must do is inject a stimulant, and she will be even more powerful. The stimulant doesn't have any side effects, as she has been using it for a long time. Violet stops Dawn. Violet runs from the battleground, takes a flight, and hurries to H-City. President Zombie assigns the tasks to the boss zombies. Fur is responsible for the Flower District. Ah Gan will be the head of the police department. Lang will be the head of the civil administration, and Blackie will be the one who is responsible for managing the city's money. Violet knocks on the door of the Zombie Council, and she hurries to President Zombie. Violet forces President Zombie to bite her hand and comes back in a hurry, thanking him. President Violet's assistant explains why she let her hand be bitten by President Zombie. As he can control minds, he can control her to do something bad. This is not her concern, as she knows she will gain insane strength and abilities to regenerate her body and never die. Even if he makes her dance in the center of the city, she doesn't care. Zombies start developing the city that President Zombie got. As President Zombie assigns work to his subordinates, the city slowly shows progress. The city now has a fashion store, a zombie hairdresser, zombie realtors, and even a driving school, with 54 members already learning to drive. As Zombie began to live his life slowly, Inspector Chen was checking the stats of President Zombie, who, according to her, lacked leadership abilities. She doesn't understand the purpose of the Beyonders Academy making the zombie their president. Chen sees making a zombie president as part of the competition between academies, but aside from this, she doesn't like a zombie to be president either. He has no qualities to be a leader, and to confirm whether he is a zombie or not, Chen will only believe him once she takes a close look at him. At the North Pole, a professor named Strange and his team reached a place where an ancient corpse was buried 500 meters down into the ice 1,000 years ago. They took out the corpse within the ice with the help of a crane and just observed the corpse's body. Suddenly, several people attacked, and someone shut the boy's mouth and hit the professor. Their leader ordered them to use the professor's team as a sacrifice, as they just needed some blood. One of them hit the ice with a sharp tool and woke up the lady corpse. The corpse is the Blood Queen, and the people wake her up and greet her. She asked them about a moron zombie, President Zombie. Blood Queen people report that President Zombie is alive and is as lively as he was. He tells Blood Queen that after President Zombie wiped out human civilization last time, he now shakes hands with humans and even is reconstructing his clan. This time, the Blood Queen has the will to win against him. In Gwangju province at the academy headquarters, President Zombie is called by someone, and in the academy there is a boy lying down. The doctors are trying to treat him, but he neither looks like a zombie nor a human. His eyes are red, and he is a member of the exploration team from the next province, which they found at the North Pole. Their provincial archaeology head, who is with him, is missing now. The man with red eyes is an ordinary person, but when two presidents went to catch him, he injured both. Violet thought to invite someone professional, like President Zombie, to find out what had happened with the red-eyed boy. President Zombie came in a car and went inside and shook hands with President Ying of Iron Club Academy. Ying knows he is the one who caught Professor Jamie, and Ying seems to have evil intent. Iron Club Academy members make fun of him, calling him a weakling, while Chief is horribly scared to see him here. The researchers told President Zombie to look at the red-eyed boy and see if he can recognize who he is. President Violet asked curiously to President Zombie if he got something, and he found, seeing the two teeth holes on the neck, that it was the blood tribe behind the boy's condition, all thrown back through an explosion as President Zombie transformed. As Iron Club left with questions about why President Zombie explodes, President Violet and Dawn hide somewhere. President Zombie has sworn to murder everyone of the blood tribe. He thought the blood tribe was already extinct, but the boy appears and asks about the Blood Queen, but the boy doesn't know anything as he became a vampire yesterday. Iron Club Academy members and the chief were horrified by the President Zombie behavior. Violet asked President Zombie what he found and what he was talking about, but before he completed his line, he forgot. President Zombie will tell them once he remembers the blood tribe. The Iron Club members whisper bad things about President Zombie, and he hears them. It's rainy and the blood tribe is hiding under an umbrella in an alleyway. Two people throw money at them, thinking they are beggars. The Blood Queen became angry, but she was stopped by her mate. She becomes angry at them for reviving her when their level has fallen that much. For 1,000 years, they had been living miserably since their Majesty, the Blood Queen, was turned into a dried corpse by President Zombie. They lived hidden for 1,000 years in order to protect themselves from the threat of President Zombie. All they could do was hide from both humans and zombies and watch from afar. Even so, they had not left the tiny alley for 1,000 years. The Blood Queen is not as powerful as she was, so she can't fight President Zombie at this level. Lanling tells her that the purpose of waking her is to tell her that they have information about a man who can turn her into the strongest being, and the man is none other than Professor Jamie, who can make her strong. The presidents are watching Professor Jamie, and President Zombie asks why they just don't destroy him. It is because they need to know the hidden experiment and research Professor Jamie did against them. Professor Jamie has also put the spies among them, and the only way to reach them is through Professor Jamie. President Zombie raised the possibility of Professor Jamie's escape, but Ying told him he couldn't escape when he was locked in that way. Ying takes President Zombie to show him the prison he locked him in because he is the one who caught Professor Jamie. The prison is called State of the Art and was specially constructed for Professor Jamie. The depth of the prison is more than 3,000 meters. There are 1,500 floors on it and 100,000 armed soldiers, and even going to the bottom through the lift takes 30 minutes. There are many weapons equipped in the prison: rocket launchers, anti-aircraft guns, laser cannons, etc. There is a president on every 100th floor, so in total, there are 30 presidents and 2 chiefs watching this place. With this tight security, he can't escape, but if he does, he will die on the spot because Professor Jamie is bound by the bomb detonator. The power of the explosion is more than 1,000 tons of TNT. Even if someone goes close to him or tries to free him up, they will both die from the explosion. President Zombie feels shame seeing the disgusting actions of humans, and he takes his leave first. In a faraway alleyway, Blood Queen is watching Professor Jamie, who is tied with a self-detonating bomb that leaves them no option but to reach him. Ying tells Violet that Inspector Chen is about to visit H City because Chief Gang told her that President Zombie built a city for zombies. Ying really doesn't care whether the president is a zombie or not, as he only recognizes the strong. President Zombie is roaming around the human city, feeling that it is prosperous. Professor Jamie has a will to obtain the genes of President Zombie while they are about to be executed. Professor Jamie has a plan that the Academy will neither be able to murder him nor get his research because before they were caught, Professor already instructed his people to send his research data to a place that even Professor doesn't know about. The boy tells the professor that even if they obtain President Zombie's genes, they will not be able to create a stronger being than him because it's nearly impossible. If the professor gets a strong vessel to carry the zombie genome, then it might be possible for him to create a stronger being. Professor planned to escape, and a food delivery robot gave him food, but in it there was a communication device that was placed in Professor's mouth as he ate food. He communicates with his spy to get the location of the Zombie King's corpse, and he tells him that it is kept in Dr. Yin's lab on the 200th floor. The professor orders him to keep following his instructions and guard the vessels. Violet calls President Zombie and tells him that Chief Gang told Inspector Chen that Zombie created a city for zombies, and Inspector is on her way to his city to look. Inspector Chen is the auditor of their province, and her work is to watch the lifestyle and behavior of all the presidents. If she finds that he is a zombie, he will be immediately fired. Violet told him not to act crazy, and she cut the call. President Zombie saw the makeup and got an idea. Inspector Chen Aeroplane is ready to go to City Hall, and she wants to find a reason to fire him because he is a weakling in her eyes. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see the next part, comment below,